study principle of moments, that is moments of force or the torque. What is moment of force or torque? So it is the cross product of position vector and the force vector. Its magnitude is given by product of force and perpendicular distance of the point of action of the force from the origin, that we have studied in the previous class. Now here we will consider a lever. Now lever, it is nothing but a light rod having a negligible mass, and it is pivoted at a point along its length as shown in the diagram. Now here AB is a lever having a lesser mass, almost negligible, and it is pivoted at some point O as shown in the figure. Now the example for this lever system is a seesaw that we have observed in children's park, and also a beam which we are using in beam balance, physical balance, chemical balance. In that balance we are using a beam that becomes a lever. Now look here. Now in this case, two forces F1 and F2 are parallel to each other and are acting perpendicular to the lever. Here we have F1 force, it is acting at the point A downwards, and F2 force, it is also acting at point B downwards. Now these two forces are parallel and also perpendicular to the lever. Now the point at which the lever is pivoted is called fulcrum. The point at which the lever is pivoted is called as the fulcrum. Now here the point O, it represents the fulcrum. Now this lever is a system of mechanical equilibrium. That means it is both in translational equilibrium and also in rotational equilibrium. Now for the translational equilibrium, what is the requirement? The vector sum of all the forces acting on the lever system is equal to 0. Now here the force F1 is acting downwards and F2 is also acting downwards. They are taken as negative. The reactional force is acting upwards. It is taken as positive. Therefore, the vector sum of all the forces are minus F1 minus F2 is equal to 0. Call this as some equation 1. If this is the case, then the lever is in translational equilibrium. Now lever is in rotational equilibrium if it is in rotational equilibrium if the vector sum of torque acting on the system or moment of force, torque or moment of force acting on the lever system is equal to 0. Now we will take the torque or moment of force with respect to fulcrum. Now taking the fulcrum as the point at which we are going to study the moment of force. Now the force F1 is at a distance d1 from the fulcrum and F2 is acting at B at a distance d2 from the fulcrum. Now F1 rotates the lever in the anti-clockwise direction. If only F1 is acting, then it tends to rotate the lever in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, the moment of force at A is taken as positive. Now, similarly, the force F2 tends to rotate the lever in the clockwise direction, as shown. It tends to rotate the lever in the clockwise direction. Therefore, that moment of force is taken as negative. We have chosen the same convention. The anti-clockwise moment of force is taken as positive, the clockwise moment of force is taken as negative. Okay, with that one, now what is the moment of force of F1 with respect to the fulcrum? It is the force F1 multiplied by the perpendicular distance d1. Since it tends to rotate the lever in the anti-clockwise direction, therefore it is taken as positive. Similarly, what is the moment of force due to the force F2? It is F2 multiplied by the distance, that is d2. But this one is going to tend to rotate the lever in the clockwise direction, therefore that moment of force is taken as negative. If this sum is equal to 0, then the lever is said to be in rotational equilibrium. Now let me call this as equation 2. Now the lever is in translational equilibrium if it satisfies this condition. It is in rotational equilibrium if that satisfies this condition, F1 d1 is equal to F2 d2. Now here F1 is a force which refers to some load which is to be lifted. Now at the point A we are placing some load. Now I have to lift that load. Therefore the F1 force is called as load. F1 we call it as load, and the distance d1 is called as load Rm. At the point A we are going to place some load and I have to lift that load. Therefore force F1 is called as load, and the distance of this load from the fulcrum is d1 and it is called as load Rm. Now similarly on the other side, at the point B, I am going to apply some force or I am going to apply effort. Therefore this F2 is called as effort. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Therefore it is called as effort, and the distance d2 is called effort Rm. So therefore from the equation 2 we can write F1 d1 is equal to F2 d2. Now F1 is load into d1 is load Rm is equal to F2 is effort into d2 effort Rm. Now this equation represents the principle of moments. This expression represents principle of moments, that is the product of load into load Rm is equal to product of effort and effort Rm, that is called principle of moments. Now that from that formula we can write mechanical advantage, MA. It is mechanical advantage. It can be written as F1 by F2, that is equal to D2 by D1. Now this is called the mechanical advantage. Now F1 is some load that is to be lifted, and F2 is the effort we are going to apply in order to lift the load F1. That should be equal to D2 by D1. So here our aim is we are going to lift the load with a lesser effort. In order to apply a lesser effort, the effort Rm should be larger. If you make this effort Rm larger and larger and larger, a small force, we can lift a large weight. That is called as mechanical advantage. And this mechanical advantage concept we have used in lifting large stones with the help of a lever, giving some support to the middle, support to that one we are lifting it. Next concept, center of gravity. In the childhood, we have observed that we are going to balance a notebook on the fingertip. Most of the students have tried that one, and even they are going to rotate that notebook at a particular point. Now that particular point in the notebook, which is balanced exactly at the tip of the finger, it corresponds to center of gravity. Even you might have observed some football players, they are going to balance the football on the fingertip or on the over the toes. Now that particular point corresponds to center of gravity. Then what is center of gravity means? It is a point at which the gravitational torque, some vector sum of the gravitational torque is 0. That is sigma 2 is equal to 0. If the vector sum of the gravitational torque acting at different parts of that object is 0, then that particular point is called as center of gravity. Now here consider a cardboard. Now cardboard is balanced by a pencil tip. If I take G as the point at which the cardboard is exactly balanced, then at this position the entire mass and its weight is acting downwards. At the same time, the tip of the pencil produces normal reaction in the upward direction. If those two are balanced, then that cardboard is balanced exactly at the tip of the pencil, and that point corresponds to center of gravity. Now let me consider two particles, one m1 on one side and m2 on the other side. Therefore, weight of m1, that is m1g, is acting downwards, and weight of m2, that is m2g, it is also acting downwards. Now m1 particle tends, the weight of m1 tends to rotate the cardboard in the anti-clockwise direction, and weight of m2 tends to rotate cardboard in the clockwise direction. If these two moment of forces are equal, then cardboard is in equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, and hence torque over this point G taken at the point G is sum of the torque is equal to, or sum of the moments of force is equal to 0. So therefore, center of gravity is a point on an object or a rigid body at which the gravitational torque is 0. Sometimes this center of gravity coincides with the center of mass. If acceleration G, acceleration due to gravity G is taken as constant, then center of mass coincides with the center of gravity. If G is going to vary, then center of mass and center of gravity may not be coinciding with each other. The vector sum of the torque is 0, then at that particular point the total torque is 0, and at that particular point that object is going to be balanced, and that point is called as center of gravity. Now we can determine the center of gravity on irregular shaped object. Now consider an irregular shaped object. Now fix it, pivot it at this particular point. As and when that object comes to rest, then draw a vertical line. That vertical line passes through some point. It passes. Now take away the object. Now fix the object at this point, second point. Now second point comes like this. Now draw the vertical line to that one. Next take the one more point here. Now fix that object with respect to this point, turning that one. Now draw the vertical line. That means these vertical lines represents the weight acting downwards, weight. Now these points are going to coincide at a particular point, and that's the point of intersection of all these straight lines corresponds to center of gravity of the object. So in this manner we can find out center of gravity of any object easily. Now we will solve one problem regarding the moment of force. A metal bar 70 centimeter long and 4 kg in mass supported on two knife edges placed at 10 centimeter from each end. A 6 kg load is suspended at 30 centimeter from one end. Find the reactions at the knife edges. Now here AB is a bar whose mass is 4 kg. Mass is 4 kg. Length of the bar is 70 centimeter. And two knife edges K1 and K2 are supported from 10 centimeter from its end. So A in the K1 ಗೆ 10 centimeter, B in the K2 ಗೆ 10 centimeter distance ಅಲ್ಲಿ knife edges ಅನ್ನು support ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Another load of 6 kg is suspended from 30 centimeter from one end. Now I have taken here from A end up to the 30 centimeter distance. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೋಡ್ W1 ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯುವ 6 kg weight, it is acting downwards. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೈಫ್ ಎಡ್ಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಅಪ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ R1 and R2 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. Now that we are going to work out. Now very simple is the solution. Now W is, it is the weight of the bar. Its mass is 4 kg into 9.8. 4 kg into 9.8. And W1 is, it is the load which is attached. A 6 kg load. It is 6 into, it is 9.8. It is also acting in the downward direction. Since both are acting in the downward direction. Okay, these two things. Now distance we know AK1. Now AK1 is equal to BK2. Both are at 10 centimeter. If I write it in meters, it is 0.1 meter. Now what is R1P or R1G? R1G, what is the point? What is the R1 into R1G length? It is 25. R1G is equal to R2G, that is equal to 25 centimeter. If I write it in meters, 0.25 meter. Now what is the distance of P and G? Now PG, it becomes 5 centimeter or 0.05 meter. Now if it's so, we have to calculate R1 and R2. Okay. Now this system is in mechanical equilibrium. Now look at here. First we consider the translational equilibrium. For translational equilibrium, the vector sum of the forces acting on the bar is 0. Now look here carefully how many forces are acting. Now weight of the bar W acting downwards, and the load which is attached at the point P, that is W1, it is also acting downwards. Now these two weights or forces are acting downwards, they are taken as negative. Correspondingly, the two reactional forces, one at K2, that is R2, and another one K1, that is R1. They are acting upwards. So from translational equilibrium, we can write R1 plus R2. Since they are acting upwards, they are taken as a positive, minus W1 minus W is equal to 0. Now, how you get this equation? From the translational equilibrium. Therefore, from this one, R1 plus R2 is equal to W1 plus W. Now, W1 plus W, from this one, we can write it as 9.8 is common, 6 plus 4, it is 10. 10 into 9.8, it is 98 Newton. So, R1 plus R2, sum of the reactional forces, we have got 98 Newton. It is one step. Now, from the rotational equilibrium condition, the moments of force should be algebraic sum of the vector sum of moments of force should be 0. From rotational equilibrium, now we are going to calculate the moment of force at a point. The better point is G, that is the center of gravity. Now we are calculating the moment of force from the center of gravity. Now R1 force tends to rotate the bar clockwise direction. Now what is the moment of force of R1 with respect to G? It is R1, that reactional force, and distance, that is K1, K1G, that distance. Since it is tending to rotate in the clockwise direction, therefore it is minus. Now come to this force. Now W1 is acting downwards and it tends to rotate the bar in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, its moments of force is force multiplied by the distance, that is Cg. And the R2 force, the reactional force, it also tends to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, its moments of force is taken as positive R2 multiplied by the distance, that is K2G, plus one more force is there, W, that is weight of the bar. But it is acting downwards and also it is acting at the point at which we are going to calculate the moment of force. Therefore, it is W multiplied by the perpendicular distance. The perpendicular distance is 0. Since it is in equilibrium, the algebraic sum of these moments of force is 0. Now, therefore, R1 K1G. Now, this distance is 25 centimeter, K1G, R1 or K1G, R2 or K2G. So, that is 0.25. Now, if I write it as K1G and K2G, R1 written R1G, R2G, it is K1G, K2G, this was 0.25 plus W1 weight. So, it is 6 kg, 6 multiplied by 9.8, mass multiplied by the acceleration into 236 into 9.8, that is W1 acting downwards. PG, now this distance is 5 centimeter, PG is 5 centimeter. If I write it in terms of meter, I am getting 0.05 plus R2, that I have to calculate. What is K2G? Once again 0.25 is equal to 0. Okay. Now simplifying this one, minus R1 into 0.25 plus R2 into 0.25 plus, if you multiply this one, I will get 2.94. Multiplying that one, I am going to get 2.94, that is equal to 0. Now dividing throughout by 0.25 and rearranging the terms, I will get R1 minus R2 is equal to 11.76. Now after dividing that one, I am shifting it to the another side and multiplying by the minus sign. I will get R1 minus R2 is equal to this Newton. Now R1 plus R2 is 98 and R1 minus R2 is 11.76. Now we are getting two simultaneous equations and substituting one in each other. I am going to get R1 is equal to 54.88 Newton and R2 is equal to 43.12 Newton. Now we have to simplify that one. Okay, simultaneous equations, substitute and simplify. Or I will take this one as nearly equal to 55 Newton, or this is equal to 43 Newton. Now these are the reactional forces.